Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. Now today we're back on the Czech beer series, and we're with a beer that I know quite well because I was drinking it quite a lot in Russia. Drinking more of the dark one rather than the light one, but yeah, I would take the light one, especially if it was a hot day and looking for a bit of refreshment. So today we're on Kozel. Ooh. Now Kozel is, get my glasses up because this is a big problem. I always look like basically my glasses are always falling down. So Kozel is basically one of the kind of the top four, that kind of the four beers or brands that make up 50% of the beer market in the Czech Republic. So it's the brewery dates back to 1874, and this is a 10, so this is a 10% on the Plato scale. So it would be the same as what we did in the past. We've done a 12. So we have, which was the Radigas. We did a 10, which was Gambrinus. We also did a UK Staropramen, and we've done a Budweiser Budvar as well. So that's what we've basically done. So this is kind of falling onto that kind of series. So let's crack it open. Again, there'll be more beer facts down below about it and things like that and other bits and bobs, but we'll crack it open and we'll see what it's like. So there we go. Get wired into this quickly. Ooh, it's a lively one, isn't it? It's a lively one. Some nice grainy smells coming up there. Nice tight head. All like a head tight. Again, I can't really say these type of phrases without it kind of sounding rather dodgy and kind of quite suggestive. Adrian's kind of highlighted that fact that I can take a simple phrase and just make it sound kind of sordid and filthy. Filthy, you know what I mean? And yeah, so doesn't help doing beer reviews talking about heads and keeping it tight. And anyway, I'm not trying to be suggestive. If my eyebrows move, it means I am. But seriously, I mean, I'm supporting this for people in the podcast. We've got a fist of heads rather than fingers, so we're counting it in fists. Ah, Jesus. Absolutely bloody useless, haven't I? Yes. Probably people will think, yeah, you're bloody idiot. Yeah, I know. Don't deny it. But anyway. Oh, here we go. We're getting into flake territory now with the people on the podcast. You can stick a flake in. Right, sod it. I'm going to go with that just now. But let's see what type of aromas we can get past this head. Right. What I'm getting is light malt and grain. That's the two smells I'm getting. There's no kind of real kind of sweetness. There's no kind of salsa. There's no hops. No nothing. It's just what I'm getting is light pale malt and grain smells. Maybe a slight hint of grass, but no bread, nothing like that. So there you go, that's what we're getting. And it's, if you look at it, it's slightly off. So it's just slightly off in the colour wise. It's a slight opaqueness, very so slight. It's not crystal clear, there's a slight opaqueness to it. It's a nice kind of light golden colour. So it is. It's got a very tight foamy head, so it has very tight. Probably one of the tightest. So it is. And it's fighting me every step of the way. This head is fighting. It does not want to basically die down. And carbonation looks kind of nice and light. Some nice effervescence going up the glass, but again, you can't really tell until you've wrapped your lips around about it and get the mouthfeel. And yeah, overall, it looks a nice attractive pint. So it does. And so let's get wired in and see what it tastes like. You're all sitting there thinking, he's going to be wearing that, and that moustache of his. That beard and that, he's going to be wearing that head. You're probably right. Right. Yeah. What I remember with Kozel. First thing you notice is there's a little bit of breadiness at the back of the mid tongue, and slightly kind of going over, and there's ever so slight light bitterness kind of joining it in the aftertaste. But you are getting that kind of slightly baked bread kind of flavours near the back end. At the front end, I'll be totally honest, it's all about the malt and the grain. There's a nice maltiness there, which again isn't surprising, and a light sweetness, so there is. If I was kind of trying to place it, if I was placing it, it's not as sweet as a Gambrinus 10. Malt, maybe just ever so slightly down, but with that kind of slightly breadiness you're getting in the mid tongue, it does kind of give you the kind of body. It kind of gives you that a bit more body than probably Gambrinus. Obviously not as big of body as the Radagast, which was a 12. I'm sure it was. Radagast was a 12. So it's not as obviously as full bodied as that, but comparing it with the two 10s that we've tried, there's more body to it. Again, there's more body to this than I would say with Budweiser Budvar, because like I said, Budweiser Budvar doesn't really taste like a Czech beer, and well, your Staropramen from the UK, is it Molson Coors that makes that? Well, again, it doesn't taste like a Czech beer because it isn't made really like a Czech beer using really Czech ingredients or anything like that, because it's just kind of mass produced piss water that's done using any old pisses can get away with. So there you go. But yeah, mouthfeel, it's a little bit more down. I would say carbonation is what I remember. It's kind of closer to an ale in some ways, so it's quite low in the carbonation, so it does drink very quickly and very easily. It really is a session. You can get wired into this, not a problem. I didn't give you even the alcohol content, did I? Should be a 4 point something. If I remember rightly, what are we at? God. I don't remember. Can't even see the bloody thing. Why do they always make the writing so damn small on the back? I don't realise I'm blind. 4.2, there we go. So let's kind of lower down the alcohol percentage, and it is very sessionable, it is very drinkable. It doesn't really have the kind of sweetness of the Gambrinus. It's got a bit of sweetness, but not too much. It's got a kind of nice bready flavour in the mid tongue, and it does have a little bit of bitterness in the aftertaste, and that kind of slightly breadiness kind of transfers over to the aftertaste. But overall, it's a nice drinkable beer. I mean, let's be totally honest. If the mainstream piss water, if in the UK any of these big kind of conglomerates making mainstream piss water, if they made a mainstream piss water that tasted like this and drank like this as a mouthfeel and everything else, Jesus, they'd be queues out the door for it. Let's be totally honest. If you could produce a beer like this in the UK to take on the likes of Foster's and the Carlings and even, you know, the over hopped Madries and things like that and the Stella Artois, if you could produce something like this or closer to this type of mouthfeel, then I think, Jesus, you'd have one hell of a win on your hands. But do it like this. Don't try and do a kind of half-arsed copy or something like that, like you've done with Staropramen and all this kind of bollocks. And yeah, I think people would be drinking till the cows come home. I could make a joke about that and the wife being out on a night out, but I won't, because I'm not that type of person. I can rise above that. But yeah. But yeah, that's the disappointment, because this beer, what did I pay for it? I think if in bottles it's less than £2, so it is, and it's round about the kind of 150, 160 mark in cans. So it's not that far away really, and if they actually gave a shit, they probably could make something kind of closer to this. But unfortunately they don't, and they seem to think making that piss water that they sell is the be all and end all. And let's be totally honest, they probably spend more money in the marketing and the promotion than they've ever done in making the bloody beer. And alarm bells should be ringing from that point of view. You should be thinking, come on, seriously? Since when does the promotion really outweigh the actual product? But they've proven that it works, because if you promote something well enough, no matter how crap it is, if people believe the promotion and the hype, then yeah, they'll buy it and they'll swear and argue with everybody it's a cracking beer, it's a great beer. You know, I've been on forums, I've read posts that people have said, oh yeah, Carling's the best beer in the UK, by far, best beer, nothing can touch it. And I'm thinking, let's be totally honest, so if people are coming out with statements for that, they really should be sectioned. They should be taken away in kind of some sort of trussed up jacket, you know, a straight jacket, and put it in a paddock cell, because if that doesn't kind of highlight that you're off your head, I don't know what will. But yeah, I mean, but it's people believe in the hype, and it's affordable, cheap to drink. Obviously at certain times it was kind of trendy to drink these beers because of how they were promoted and things like that, so the trend on Madry, the latest one, you know, eventually that'll go the same way, that'll just be part of the mainstream piss water. So yeah, whereas if they just made something like this, or even Gambrinus, or some of the other ones that we're going to try, the lager industry in the UK would be a lot better. You know, because it's got that, I mean, having that little bit of bitterness in the end kind of also can appeal to ale drinkers. Having lower carbonation again will appeal to ale drinkers and things like that. So you're bringing more into the fold, and while ale drinkers might not drink it very often, if they do want something more refreshing, or they're going to have people round, they might get some of these type of beers in if they were available, and replacing the kind of crap that we have now. But this is a situation that just honestly, in some ways I'm quite disillusioned with the beer industry because of this in the UK. Is just, how can they just get away with producing such utter gut rot, and they think it's acceptable, that they're not even embarrassed about it, you know, they're quite blasé about it. Yeah, we know it's cheap and nasty, but hey, It's selling. People are buying it. Yeah, so they're quite arrogant about it. But yeah, let's break down these flavours. Starts off some nice light malt, bit of grain, and I like sweetness. All kind of nice, just working together, not trying to produce a big bang or that type of stuff, but just a really good standard start. Nothing miraculous, nothing brilliant, but just a damn good start. Moves on to the mid-tongue, and the sweetness is still there. The malt is kind of slightly dissipated a bit, and the grain's still kind of holding. And about halfway along the mid-tongue, you're starting getting just little light bitter accents. And along as these bitter accents come in, the grain starts to give you a bit more kind of slightly bready kind of tones. So it does. It gives you a little bit more kind of baked bread tones. And as it moves on to the mid-tongue, you're starting to get, not the mid-tongue, as it moves on to the aftertaste, some of that kind of bready tones kind of transfers over, and these kind of little bitter accents just slightly ramp up a bit, just ramp up a little bit, and yeah, you just get a kind of nice finish. And it's not a lingering bitterness, and it's not over strong bitterness, but it's just a nice bitterness, just to slightly offset the other flavours that you were getting at the start and the mid-tongue, which is this little bit of sweetness and a little bit of maltiness, and it just that gives you that nice balance. The sweetness, I would probably say, just as the bitterness kind of starts to ramp up in the aftertaste, that's when that little bit of sweetness kind of dissipates completely. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why the bitterness just slightly ramps up a bit in the aftertaste, is because the sweetness, I think it's always kind of there from the mid-tongue, but as the sweetness dissipates, it just gives it a little boost, and it just feels like you're getting a little bit more bitterness in the aftertaste than at the tail end of the mid-tongue, and that's how it feels. But yeah, you can see, nice lively beer. It really is so easy to drink. Too easy to drink, really nice mouthfeel. But it's almost like an ale with its carbonation, and but it has that little bit of sharpness to it. It has a kind of sharpness to the bitterness that you don't get with an ale, that you get with a lager, especially a Czech lager. And overall, it really is just a good standard lager. It really is a good standard lager, and it's one of the ones I've drunk many times, and it's always a good go-to. It's like sometimes when I'm out and about and in different countries and things like that, and especially if I used to spend a lot of times at airports, and I used to drink Guinness at airports just because it was a safe bet, because you go in there and you've got all the kind of usual guff, Heineken and Carlsberg and all these other, and you might have some kind of local stuff, and I used to cover Middle East and Africa and things like that. So the safest bet, until you kind of know what's good and what's not good, is just grab a Guinness. Well, when I used to be going about Russia and things like that, this was a safety net for me as well, especially the light or the dark. You know, you'd be going into a restaurant, what beers you got, blah blah blah, and you're thinking, I had half of them, but they've got Kozel, right, I'll grab a Kozel. And it was my kind of safety net. It was a good standard beer, not going to let me down. This was actually one of the places where it was actually brewed outside of the Czech Republic, so it was actually brewed in Poland and brewed in Russia, because they were so popular, the Kozel beers, light and dark. And yeah, I've compared both versions to obviously the original ones, like this from the Czech Republic. They were very close. There really wasn't that much of a difference between them. So again, there must have been a tight rain and kept a close eye on from the Czech brewery. But overall, it was a good go-to safety beer, a good safety net, just like I've used Guinness in the past and in other places with my travels and things like that. And I've always liked it because of that, because I can rely on it. There's a consistency there. There's no point in cracking open a beer and saying, oh, that's nice and everything else, and then you have it another time, you think, well, it's not really the same as what it used to be, or it's not the same. This one just is. The minute you smell it, you think, it's bringing all the kind of memories back. The minute you taste it, yeah, there you go. The flavours are there. And overall, it is a different beer from Gambrinus. It is a different beer from Radagast, and I think that's with these 4 brands, even though they're owned by the Asahi group. There's Pilsner Urquell in there as well. They're all making different beers. Yeah, they might be Czech lagers, might be a Pilsner, whatever, but they're all kind of different in their own way, and they have a different flavour profile, and they're bringing a different kind of beer to the table. And this does have a different mouthfeel to Gambrinus and Radagast, and obviously Pilsner Urquell. And it's that. They can actually get a difference, not just with flavour profiles, but just how it feels in the mouth and just how the beer reacts. It is a different experience, and I think that's what works, and that's why these kind of 4 beer brands are such a big part of the Czech beer market, is because they are bringing different kind of how would you put it, different profiles to the table, basically. So depending what mood you're in and what you really fancy. But for a session, yeah, this is one of the kind of lower alcohol versions within the range, and yeah, it's an easy drinking one. And yeah, if you're in for a right good session, it's one of the kind of popular ones. And in the kind of more kind of old kind of Soviet style canteen restaurants, this is usually sold, and it's also drunk quite often at breakfast time, especially if people are coming off night shifts or doing late shifts and things like that. Then yes, this is one of the ones that people will actually have along with their breakfast and along with their lunch as well. So out of 10, what would I give it? It's in a similar vein, but a different flavour profile and a different feel, but it's in a similar vein, it being a 10 compared to Gambrinus. Gambrinus was obviously a sweeter beer. This is probably more within my kind of remit on that basis. So I would probably give it a 6.5 out of 10. So I would roughly kind of the same vein. It's a nice beer, easy drinking. Again, I would probably go for the darker options rather than the lighter options of these type of things, because I prefer darker beers anyway. But yes, for a hot summer's day, easy to drink, very sessionable, I would recommend it. And of course you can actually order it from the Czech Republic and get it for a good price and get it delivered within a couple of days, and I would recommend it. Go and try it. Go and get yourself a selection of Czech beers. They're cheap as chips. They're just as cheap as going to buy products at Aldi and Lidl, but I can assure you a lot better. So yeah, it's an easy 6.5 out of 10. Nice beer, 4.2%, 500ml in the can. It's roughly about £1.50, £1.60, under £2 if you want it in the bottle. And yeah, I would recommend go and give them a go. You'd be pleasantly surprised, and you would enjoy them. So thanks for watching. Cheers and bye for now.